a portion of his rap at the chorization is supported like a pack of some more observations. They're important like the fact that we're bored of fake shit. More creative, have the floor, so take it. Travel to the core is a normal placement. Tattoos on my arm and a...
Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are the Super Bowl champs. And they have made America proud. And they have made the great state of Kansas proud as well. Yeah.
Kansas needs something to be proud of?
Yeah. Listen, at a certain point, I think it becomes a dereliction of duty and borderline treason to keep letting this motherfucker tweet. You gotta take his fucking phone at this point. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you heard it, Flavor Ray said that shit on Tattoo with Children. Which was listening to Tattoo with Children. I am your host, Flavor Ray, and C-Day across from me and CB is back from the motherfucking dead. Climbed out of his grave, the Dread Pirate Benjamin.
What's up?
And across from us both is the man who will soon be a Super Bowl champion business developer. CIO No Pain.
This chair is much more comfortable than my last one.
Yeah, it does. His last one was a stool that went right up his ass crack.
Yeah.
So this is an actual chair. Guys, it's a Monday. And what does Flavor Ray love to talk about on a Monday?
Football.
And I love this Monday better than most other Mondays because this is the Monday after a goddamn Super Bowl, which was an adult Super Bowl. Guys, all I wanted for this game was it for it to be a great game.
And it was.
This was not a great game. This was a fantastic game. This was much better than I could have possibly hoped.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no better story than, like, if you're trying to write a football story for movies, you don't want a game that's a back and forth game throughout the movie. What you want is a game where one team is getting their ass beat for 3.5 quarters, and then just comes out of nowhere and wins.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the real football story that we all like to tell. And I can't believe it happened in real time, in real life, with a young kid, second youngest kid to ever win a Super Bowl, second youngest kid to ever be a Super Bowl MVP. And he's also from Texas. And he's also from East Texas. Literally, the kid grew up not 2 hours from my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in love with this story. Like this, it had everything that you would want in a Super Bowl. It had two teams who were playing great defense for most of the game, which honestly, that is essential for a good Super Bowl. The teams have to play good defense.
Right.
Those Super Bowls where the score like reached the fucking 80s, combined scores in the 80s, 90s, 100. Like those are lousy games.
I think that 90% of America is satisfied.
Yeah,
because the Patriots weren't playing.
I mean, yes, it's also essential that the Patriots not be a part of the contest if it's going to be a good Super Bowl. Like, that is real.
It was interesting, though, because I don't share your assessment of the game, but I also think it was a brilliant game.
Okay, let's go with that. What was your assessment of the game?
Oddly enough, Kansas City had it in the bag the whole time. I mean, okay. I watched the game from start to finish, and from my perspective, Kansas City never lost momentum. Okay. Weirdly enough, this is not the game I expected to watch.
That is a very weird perspective.
I did not think one time San Francisco had momentum.
Okay, I'll agree with you there. I didn't think they had momentum either.
They didn't have anything. They were clearly a better team, in my opinion.
They were just better than the Chiefs,
right?
But they didn't have that. You know what? Like what I told my wife was both these quarterbacks. Like I only watched up to the third quarter because I was out of town and then I had to get home.
Right.
So up to the third quarter, I told my wife, or maybe I didn't tell her, maybe I said it in my head. But I looked at the two quarterbacks. Said they both look as if this game is too big for them right now. Like Patrick Mahomes looked like the game was getting outside of his helmet at this point. You know, he threw an interception and went to the sideline, and he knew for a fact that it was because he had rushed the throw. You know,
right?
And he was like, it looked as if he was trying to grab the game inside of his head. And Jimmy G look, the entire time, like every time he did a good play, he was like, "Oh my God, thank God I did that." Oh my God, I can't believe I'm still ahead. You know what I mean? Like the game was just too big for him the whole time.
I can sympathize with Jimmy G on that. Right, that's like me after every phone call I do.
Yeah. So, oh my God, that went really well.
That went better than expected.
Yay for me. And you might say, like, you say, well, he's a young quarterback, but it's a bad position to be in when you're in the Super Bowl, because like Joe Montana, back in the day. You've got to be, if you're behind, you have to be calm. If you're ahead, you got to be calm. If you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
If things are going bad, you have to be the only dude that knows that you still got this in hand. And that's what Patrick Mahomes figured out in the latter half of the fourth quarter. Like, there's something about Patrick Mahomes when the chips are down. There's a switch in his mind that clicks over where he decides that the game is going to be won by him. It's like he looks at everybody in the huddle, and everybody sees his eyes, and they know, so, oh, he's here now. It's like when Tony Stark puts on his Iron Man suit. It's like he's in the suit. Right. It's time to go.
Right.
And Patrick Mahomes doesn't do that until a certain time when the chips are just when it looks like this is the last moment. He probably has to fix that, I think. That's probably not a great position to be in. But it happens repeatedly. It's happened 3 games in a row in this postseason. Where it's like, you know what, if we don't do it now, we're not going to do it, so we're doing it right fucking now. Yeah. And I don't know if that's I think that's it's a thing in him.
Right.
But I think it's also a thing in Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid does that too.
I think so. I mean, I came out of this not any more of a Andy Reid fan than I was before. I was not a fan before. I'm not a fan now.
See, here's what I love about Ben. Ben can change perspective on most things.
Right.
But the things that he decided are true, those things are true. I like that. I rely on that myself.
They're true for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't like Andy Reid. I mean, I've never liked Andy Reid. I've never seen any evidence to start liking Andy Reid.
Why would I ever like Andy Reid?
I don't know. It was an interesting game from the perspective of coaching, because to me it was old school versus new school. And
I would agree with that.
And Shanahan could have won and didn't.
Yes.
And I feel like that was a little bit of, not a little bit, I feel like that was a lot of mistake on his part.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
He was trusting that the game would eventually go in his favor.
You know what? I don't know I think that he just thought that he was following the correct formula. I think for most of the game, he felt that the game was in hand.
Right.
When it was actually out of hand.
Right.
Like he thought that his defense had this thing on lock, not realizing that Patrick Mahomes hadn't woken up yet.
Right.
And when he wakes up, your defense is going to be good enough. Like that didn't occur to him.
Well, and I think also what didn't occur to him is the fact of momentum. In other words, he thought, well, we're keeping Mahomes in check.
Yes.
But they weren't.
No, they weren't.
So basically the defense was doing just good enough. Well, after 3 hours of really high, stressful, just good enough.
Yeah, your defense gets tired.
I think that's what happened.
They get real tired.
I don't think if you go back and look at the game, what big play did they give up? Was it the 48-yard pass in the fourth quarter? Where it was, they got that big third down. Yeah. They got that big third down call.
There was a third and 15.
Right.
And the Chiefs were in their field, so it was like they weren't on the 50-yard line yet. And there was a 3rd and 15, and Patrick Mahomes connected on like a 40-plus yard pass, and that kind of broke the back of the defense.
But the amazing thing was, it was the first play all game
that they gave up.
That they gave up, but also it wasn't that great of a pass.
No, it wasn't.
The wide receiver still had to wait like 10 fucking minutes on it.
Yeah.
Like Mahomes, that's the thing. It's like Mahomes won a Super Bowl.
The truth is,
on 13 of 19 passing?
The truth is, Patrick Mahomes was breaking down that defense before that. And if you look at, there was, I think, in the third quarter, on the first or second possession the Chiefs had in the third quarter, there was like a 3rd and like a 3rd and 12 or 13 where he did a scramble to the sideline where he got the first down by like half an inch, something ridiculous.
Okay.
And that one, I think, hurt the defense more than the actual pass later on. Because they realized, because the defense they ran against him to stop that play was the right defense.
Right.
And they just couldn't stop him. Like, when you get that kind of play going, it gets in your head. You know, it just plants a seed that this kid has physical skills that maybe you're not completely prepared for. And everybody in the stadium was like, "Oh, but he then threw an interception." Yeah, it was a second possession because he threw back-to-back interceptions. So the first one he like drilled the defender in the chest with the ball, but the second one it like went out of his receiver's hands into the defense, and that one wasn't his fault. He actually had an on-target throw. Like the momentum was building at that point. They were just a fucking brain fart on his receiver's part that caused that interception. But that sort of play, when you're looking at this kid and going, he can beat us, like the secondary in particular, they started getting real chippy, started getting real upset with how the game was going and started doing like weird shit, like trying to strip the ball out when the play's over and doing like when they start doing that shit, know that the quarterback is in their head.
Right.
And it was like that shit was going on, and Kyle Shanahan for some reason didn't recognize it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's real hard for me to tell where the game. I really enjoyed the game. It was a fantastic game. It was a fun game to watch.
And the 49ers, by the way, did a great job.
I felt like they did. I just felt like either coach could have made 2 plays more and impacted the game in a huge way.
Yeah.
I felt like either coach could have. I did like Andy Reid going for it on 2 4th downs.
Yeah, and but that was just faith in his quarterback.
Yeah,
that was just that's all that. Like, in other words, Andy Reid was in a position where he knew he had the personnel to win this game, no matter what the score was, and so that opened up his play calling all the way to the back of the playbook. He could do whatever he wanted to.
Right.
And so that's the great position for a coach to be in. I think that if he had had a different quarterback, he couldn't have won the game. If he'd had Tom Brady, he couldn't have won the game. I don't think Tom Brady could have come back in the last 6 minutes, scored 21 unanswered. You say, well, Tom Brady's done that before. Yeah, he has done it with Andy Reid before. I don't think it would have happened. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, there's a lot about that game that was really interesting. I think we'll be dissecting it for a while. It was a great game of commercials, but let's take a quick break and then we'll get back to the commercials.
I would agree with that. Leo, let's take a break here, and then we're going to get to the halftime show and the commercials. All right, you're back with Tattoo with Children. We're talking about the Super Bowl, and we just broke down a little bit of the game. Like this was a deep game. There was a lot of stories in this game. One of the main storylines I thought was the halftime show.
It was probably the best halftime show ever.
I would disagree with that wholeheartedly. Not because it was because there have had some great halftime shows. Like Prince's halftime show was fantastic. Bruno Mars killed it in his. I think that this was maybe the most important halftime show of all time because this was the first time that 2 women, and in particular 2 Latino women, 2 non-white women, were the entire show. And that's not something that happened before. And I don't think it's something that could have happened before this Super Bowl. So the fact that it happened, I think that makes it very important. The show itself, I would say, was very good. I would even say it was a great show. I would not say that it reached some of the other halftime shows that I've seen as far as being the show. But I will say that I love to see Shakira perform in any way, shape, and form. I could watch her all day. Her hips don't lie, and I like the truth. America said that we need truth, and immediately cues Shakira's hips, and the truth was told. I thought that Jennifer Lopez was a great choice because she is a great performer. I don't think she fits the times. You know, it was like, and I think that she recognizes that as well. Like, that's the reason why I was like, you know, if you call me on Twitter, I was like, you know, I really appreciate that they let Jennifer Lopez perform with a cane. You know, because she was going to need a little help out there, and she knew that. You know, in this era of TikTok dances, if you're over 40, that's not going to be your thing. You know, it's just a fact. You're not going to be able to get out there for 11 minutes and dance fast.
I mean, they both looked fantastic for what, 50 and 43?
Absolutely. They looked fucking fantastic. I mean, like, everything that they did was a very indicative performance of everything they've done in their entire careers. And it brought back all the good feelings of Jenny from the Block and all of the good feelings about Shakira, you know, legs akimbo with her crotch in the camera. I love that. A lot of people did not love it. A lot of people were very upset. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, yes. Oh, why? God, yes.
Why?
Apparently, what was stripper pole dancing is what we're doing on television now.
See, this is where I'm going to have to jump in and agree with Gary Vee. I don't understand why we glorify the past. Why do we do that? Does no one remember Madonna? Does no one remember the 90s? Cher fingered herself on television. Does no one remember that? And she was like 73 when she did it. And no one said anything.
I don't think that no one said anything, but everyone's very positive about it.
Right. Why?
Everyone's very positive about when Cher did it. I don't think everyone was completely positive about when Madonna did it, but at least they were like, you know, she's being provocative. This, like, Jennifer Lopez it wasn't Shakira. It was just Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez received a lot of hate from women immediately. And like on Twitter and Facebook, I mean, just straight vitriol.
And see, that's crazy to me because women are always saying, I have to keep up this body image and I have to do that. Dude, then why do you attack other women? Like, J-Lo is 50 years old and did a stripper pole routine at the halftime show.
She did. What? And she killed it. Like, see, that's the other 50. Thing about it. She killed it.
It was honestly, I'll be real with you. I didn't like Bruno Mars's set that much.
Okay.
I remember leaving and going to smoke a cigar.
Okay.
During Bruno Mars's set. I enjoyed Prince because, well, it was Prince, but like, I don't know if I stayed for the whole thing either.
Okay.
This was the first one in 20 years that I actually watched the entire halftime show.
I watched the whole thing, but I didn't think the whole thing was entertaining. Like, I'll put it that way. Yeah. I wasn't completely entertained by the entire thing. But I mean, again, that's different strokes for different folks. Like, I don't understand the reason for the hate on Jennifer Lopez for this, because the first thing about it is she was not going to be able to connect to the young folks with this routine. That wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Like, the music was going to be a decade old. The moves were going to be at least a decade old. Everybody knew that going into it. And so she stayed completely within herself and did what middle-aged women are supposed to do.
Right.
And if you're going to be a sexy middle-aged woman, you're going to need a pole when you dance.
Yeah, you're going to need something.
You're going to need something. You know, like, it's not because you're physically incapable. It's just that's how we do.
Right.
You know, that's how we roll. We're from the stripper pole generation. The fact that people were giving a shit about that part of it, I didn't get at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can give her shit about being disconnected, or, you know, get someone younger, or get Pitbull. That was one of the things that I was surprised. I surprised Pitbull did not make an appearance. I thought for sure, being in Miami, you know, music playing Super Bowl, for sure he would just jump on stage. I think they probably had a shoot on sight on Pitbull. Said if he approaches the stage, just go ahead and take him out, because I know he wanted to be on that stage for a fact. And he did not appear, which shocked me. But, like, those aspects of you give her shit about, but to give her shit for doing the thing that, honestly, every middle-aged woman in America aspires to do.
Right.
How many classes are there for pole dancing, for fitness,
right,
in quotation marks, are there going on in America right now? Like, we're in Lufkin, Texas, and I know there's probably 2.
Right.
Going on right now. And Lufkin is not a metropolitan area. So,
right.
Guys, why do we attack our own? And she is our own.
Right.
J-Lo is one of ours. That's why I don't feel, I'm disrespecting her by ribbing her a little bit. It's like rib my little sister.
Right.
It's like she knows I love her. She knows I loved her from the beginning.
Right.
I loved her when she played Selena.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why, but I think it's just where we're at in society now. Everybody loves to hate something.
Why is that?
But they think it's entertaining.
They think hatred's entertaining?
I don't think they think it's hatred. I think they think it's entertaining to disagree with someone or to go after someone.
Okay. See, I have a real hard time with that because I think, let's say this. I think that is entertaining when it's done for entertainment. Like when a comedian does it,
right?
They're making jokes. When you're on Facebook, dogpiling on somebody, you're not being entertaining. You're spouting vitriol because you feel angry. It's like you say, well, maybe they're trying to be entertaining on Facebook. I don't think that's true. That's one of the problems I have with Facebook. Is I don't think people view Facebook as entertainment. They view Facebook as, well, here is where I'm going to put out what I want people to know about me. And if you're putting out what you want people to know about you, and what you want people to know about you is that you hate the fact that J-Lo pole dances, that says too much about you in order for it to be entertainment. It just makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I say, we've been discussing it since we started this podcast. Well, we've been discussing it before the podcast started. Yeah, it gets into this weird place where everybody says they're interested in security, but they're not. They're interested in entertainment, and they say that they're interested in relationships. But you know how often you love, not love. How do I say this? So, for instance, if you picked any random significant other this morning, and
sure.
you got to be, you got to plant a hidden camera at their work.
Okay.
They would not be telling their coworkers what was awesome about you this weekend.
Right. Yeah.
You, the husband.
Me. They
would be talking mad shit.
Right, about how I fucked up.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what my husband Ray did this weekend. You wouldn't believe what my boyfriend Ray did this weekend.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what my best friend Ray did this weekend. And it's all negative.
Yeah. Like
it's a favorite pastime of people, and I don't get that.
For a while, it was all self-deprecation.
Right.
Like, for a little bit, you couldn't find any comedian or any television show that wasn't a self-deprecating premise.
Right.
And now it's flipped where instead of talking bad about yourself, you're talking bad about everybody else. Like, we're trying to empower ourselves now, I guess.
Right.
By tearing everybody else down.
Right. And Gary says there's 2 ways to build the biggest business. And one is to tear down all the other big buildings so your building's taller.
Right.
And the other one is just to build the tallest building.
Yeah. I would much prefer to build the tallest building than try to tear everybody else down.
But the hard thing about that is that it gets very distracting when everyone. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been either at a restaurant or at a grocery store or at the supermarket, and that's all I mean, listen. The next time you go to HEB,
sure,
dude, just listen. No one is saying, "Oh my God, you wouldn't believe what my husband did this weekend."
Yeah.
He brought me flowers. You wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Like I went home. I got home. I was super tired, and he had emptied all the trash and emptied and it's not because men are not doing it.
No, yeah, men are absolutely doing it.
But that's the amazing.
I know for a fact that I'm killing it right now.
Right. And yet, that's not the top news story.
Right.
The top news story is you were born with a penis, so you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And,
I get a lot of that.
Fucking J-Lo, can stripper dance at 50.
And here's Shakira didn't even get that much hate or any hate.
And the amazing thing about that was she came out as a ginger, which didn't make any goddamn sense.
She had red hair. She had red hair, fire red hair, no clothes, and she's speaking literally in tongues at one point.
and then the interesting thing about that is like she wasn't that tight.
No, her.
She had a little bit of it. She had I mean her gut.
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't trying to look like a 17-year-old.
No, absolutely not. She
was trying to look like a mid-40s woman.
Yeah.
And she was a little soft around some spots.
Yeah. She's pushing it out there.
Quite frankly, I like.
Yeah, and it made it a lot sexier.
It was like super real. It was like, okay, there's not one of the, there's no like fake, like, I don't know, 74-pound singers out there right now.
Right. Like, dude, ladies, if you want to know what dudes like, I'll tell you right now. All ladies. Dudes like you. When it's you, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it immediately if it's you.
Right, but if it looks like somebody else or looks like you're trying to be somebody else, that's
I'm out of it.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm out of it. If you're looking like Barbie, and it's like if you have an Instagram where you're calling yourself any version of Barbie, black Barbie, swimsuit Barbie, business Barbie, I'm out. If you have a Instagram where you call yourself the kangaroo pouch lady, I'm in. We're ready to go. Speaking of being in, the commercials. Which commercials were we in on? I know there was at least 3 that caught my eye that I thought were a little special.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you and I knew the Planters thing was coming. We just didn't know what was coming.
I didn't know what was coming. Like, see, the weird thing about it was I knew they were doing something because Gary Vee telegraphed it. I knew it was something going to be very interesting with the Planters commercial.
Right.
And the move they made was very obvious.
It was.
It was a very obvious move, but I did not see it coming because of how brilliant it was.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Baby Yoda for the last, 3 months, 4 months.
Right.
Like, I couldn't escape Baby Yoda. He's in my house. I still to this day do not have Disney Plus.
Right.
But I still can't escape Baby Yoda somehow.
Right.
And I just know that there was an executive at VaynerMedia, and they're having a meeting about what to do with Planters, how to update Planters, how to make it relevant. And some guy, had an epiphany. And was like, dude, I got it. I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
They kill the old man and make him a baby.
Yeah.
And now it's Baby Nut.
Right.
Dude.
It was so fucking dope.
It was absolutely fantastic.
And the thing that I love about it too is that they did it and they launched a like an apparel line. Like I was because I love retail.
Uh-huh.
So I immediately saw the commercial, went on Twitter, posted about it, and then saw Gary Vee's tweet. Well,
right.
Gary Vee's tweet was a link to the new Planters.com.
The new Planters.com.
In which they had T-shirts, they got koozies, they got blankets, they got fucking purses, they got stuffed animals.
Yeah,
like you can buy the little Baby Nut dude. I almost bought it. Dude, it was $38. It was fucking dope.
Those are going to just fly off the shelf. They're probably sold out already.
Right. And so but I was looking at it and I was going see, this is what people don't understand about branding. They're never going to make any money at that shit.
No.
But it's going to be in your house.
But Planters Nuts is back in your house again.
Right.
And was there anybody in America who was thinking about Planters Nuts?
No.
Not at all.
No one has ever thought about fucking peanuts.
It's peanuts.
Goddamn.
It's fucking peanuts.
Right, yeah.
And now peanuts are dope again?
Right.
How did that happen?
Right. It happened because of a brilliant, this is the idea that would have gotten shot down in 2009.
Absolutely.
somebody would have gone, you want to do what? With what? No,
son, man, we ain't doing that shit. That's stupid. That. And honestly, I think it would have got shot down in 2018. Like, if the whole Baby Yoda thing hadn't happened,
right,
I have no faith that this would have worked.
Right. Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, it was a super random, without the lead into Baby Yoda from Baby Yoda.
From Baby Yoda.
Yeah, which again makes you wonder, like, what's going to be next?
Yeah.
You know, like
this is what makes Gary's life so dope.
Like, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going to be babies again? You know, like what's going to happen next?
Do you know what else makes Gary V dope? And I'm talking about Gary V because he honestly stole the show for me, like, as far as the commercials were concerned. Okay. Because he had two more, and he had the Sabra thing. The Sabra
hummus.
Yeah.
Okay, now that was actually a dope commercial,
dude.
Because I don't even like hummus.
He kicked it off with Ric Flair.
Right.
People, do you realize that he was talking not to you but to me?
Right.
With that, right. Like he was actually coming into my brain and going, "Do you remember Ric Flair?"
Right.
Like, yeah, I remember Ric Flair. That dude is, oh my God, it's Ric Flair. Yeah, I want hummus.
Right. That's kind of crazy.
That was so great. So he had three commercials, and people went up and said, "Hey, Gary, you've done it again, man. Good job." And Gary went, "I didn't do it. It was my dope team in VaynerMedia,
right?
And it was my dope clients,
right?
Me, I had almost nothing, if not zero, to do with it,
right?
You know what I mean? And that's something that I don't think any other CEO would actually do,
right?
Every other CEO you know about is going to take credit when their team hits a home run.
Right.
And he absolutely refused to do that. And like, I just got to clap my hands for a guy who was that authentic in himself.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like I really like, it's the kind of person that I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be that guy that's going to let my team shine. And then when they do, I'm not going to say what we did. I'm going to say what they did.
Right.
And just leave myself out of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, the next one...
commercial, Doritos.
The next one had to be Doritos.
Yeah.
For me, like... Because, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't really... Believe it or not, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to online. But I do pay attention to the rooms I'm in.
Right.
So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We probably had about 14 people here to watch the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Maybe 16 at the top, because some people came in and dropped out. Other people came in and dropped out. They weren't here long, you know. So maybe 16 tops. And the biggest response to the night that I heard was the Doritos commercial. People were laughing, people were cheering, people were chuckling, people were like tapping their neighbor like, hey man, hey, watch this. No, you missed it last time. Here it is again. And it was Lil Nas and fucking Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine two more unlikely individuals to be in a commercial together.
Yeah. Like the fact that they got set, like, okay, so the thing about Sam Elliott is, I remember Sam Elliott was in several movies that, like, he was in The Big Lebowski. He was in Roadhouse. You know, he was in some movies that are from when I was a kid.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and he was old in those movies.
Right.
He wasn't a young dude there. And so the fact that he is in this commercial and he looks the same in the commercial. Now, there was some digital effects going on there, but his face looked the same. Makes me think he's an immortal.
Right.
You know, and that is something that is very appealing to my generation.
Absolutely.
Say, have we figured this whole death thing out? And say, and Sam Elliott is actually not going to die?
Right.
Because Patrick Swayze's dead.
Right.
You know, he was a young guy when they did Roadhouse.
Right.
Sam Elliott was not. And Sam Elliott is still alive and Patrick Swayze's dead.
Right. No, in 1967, Sam Elliott looked exactly the same as he did now.
Exactly. So I was very jazzed to see Sam Elliott, and then to see them combine basically an idea from the old school,
right,
which is the showdown,
right,
with an idea from the new school, which is the dance battle,
right.
And then you win it because the guy's horse won't get into it.
Right, yeah.
It's like that horse is me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in the commercial, I was the horse.
No, it was a great fucking commercial, dude.
Yeah, it was a great commercial.
It was so much fun. And then I think the next one that I keep hearing about that people liked was the Bill Murray Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I heard people like that one, which I missed the first time. I caught it online, and I think that's a bit of a nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like I'm not sure how many people seen Groundhog Day that's under the age of 25 or so. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, honestly,
to me, it's a Christmas classic, but I don't know if anyone.
I didn't see the movie probably till I was 30.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I don't remember how. Did I see it in theater? I might have saw it in the theater. I was going to movies back then.
Yeah, like I know I didn't see it until I was almost 30.
I mean, it was definitely one of those movies that I knew was a classic when I saw it, and so I was very happy about it.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm not sure in my mind if that is into the current culture all that much. The fact they brought it back makes it feel like they brought it back talking to me again.
Right.
You know. So, but a lot of people liked it. So you know that was a bit of a home run for Jeep. I liked the Amazon commercial.
Okay, remind me which one was that?
That was the one with Ellen and Portia de Rossi where they're like, what did people do before Alexa?
Yeah. No, that was fucking funny.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I didn't like, and a lot of people that were at the Super Bowl with me were surprised by this, but I'd read a big article about it on Business Insider or something, how few commercials there were that were actually new.
Yeah.
See, Amazon actually started showing that commercial about a week ago.
Yeah, there was, and the Doritos commercial also had come out like a week ahead of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And my wife actually asked a question I didn't know the answer to, and I was going to bring it up.
Okay.
She's like, when did it become a thing for the Super Bowl commercials to be a part of the Super Bowl? Like, when did the commercials become a part of the show? On the television show. And I was like, well, you remember when, some of those iconic commercials that we like, Spuds McKenzie and remember the Bud Bowl?
Right.
Shit like that. Like those were great, like cultural moments.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think, in other words, these commercials now, well, they're good commercials.
Right.
But they're not cultural touchstones.
Right.
I don't think that we're in that era anymore where there will be cultural touchstones at Super Bowl commercials because we're kind of out of that medium. Television as a medium is kind of going by the wayside, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's still... I think with guys like Gary Vee, it could stay there. It just depends on what happens in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, because I definitely agree with you. I mean, television has definitely become more like the radio, which is, in fact, dead.
Right.
And so I don't know what to say necessarily about where those cultural moments are going to come from. They're certainly not going to come from the internet, oddly enough. No. They may come from YouTube.
YouTube could be a thing. I think what is these streaming platforms?
Right.
Right. Amazon. They had a commercial for a new show they're doing called Hunters.
Right.
Where it's Jews hunting down escaped Nazis, I think.
Right.
Which I really want to see this.
Okay.
Because they're doing it in a really violent way, so they're kind of reversing the situation is like, it's just sort of like doing Inglourious Bastards, but not Tarantino. It's Jordan Peele, so it's much more horrific.
Okay, all right.
Like I'm really into that. The whole they start the whole thing. If you haven't seen the commercial, you got to go check it out. They start out and say, "Hey, this is an American barbecue.
Right.
Grill is hot, the drinks are cold," and then a lady just points her finger and goes, "Nazi, Nazi" at this dude, and dude's like, "Oh shit." So I just love that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Where America's called out for being America.
Right.
You know, because like how many of us are very, very proud of our grill skills?
Right.
And we're actually horrible people.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, he's a Nazi, but have you tried his burgers?
Right.
You know, that's a very American thing. So, you know, I mean, shit like that is going to be cultural now. So, like Baby Yoda is a cultural touchstone to a generation right now.
Right.
Because of Disney Plus.
Right.
You know, and it's granted, it's Disney, which is old media.
Right.
But it led directly to Doritos, which was new media.
Right.
You know, I mean, that sort of thing. It led directly to the whole Baby Nut thing, which is as new media as you can get.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think that the commercials are still important.
Right.
I just don't think that the game on television is as important now, and so that's kind of why the commercials aren't happening on why the new ones aren't new during the game.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
You know, like if you wanted to get traction on a commercial, like you wouldn't debut at the Super Bowl. I think that's a bad idea.
See, but that's what's weird is because as you take that, to me, it's the same thing. Retailers fucking up the same way. See, this is where I kind of disagree, and I'm not sure where my disagreement's coming from, but like as soon as you take Black Friday away and make it Thursday,
yeah,
it's less special.
Yeah, for sure.
As soon as you take the Super Bowl commercial away and you show it whenever the fuck you want, I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm only watching it because it's the Super Bowl. If you're not going to debut your Super Bowl ad on the Super Bowl, then what the fuck am I watching for?
I agree.
Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you took the fun away. You took the build up. Like it's almost like, hey, let's go to the movie premiere, but I've already seen it.
Right.
Why would I go to the premiere? I've already seen the movie.
Right. Absolutely.
Like you took the event away.
Yeah, it's no longer a big. But maybe that's where we're headed.
It may be where we're headed,
like,
but it seems like we're taking everything fun away. Then, like, what are we gonna do?
Like, I mean, I think we'll do something. Like, in other words, I'm not going to try and fight it.
No, I'm not trying to fight it either. But I do think I'm asking, like, what is the point? Like, what is the point to showing the ads early? What is the point to? Because if you
show the ads early because you want people to see them. Like, that is what I think the point is.
But one of the ways you get people to see them is to have an event surrounding them. Like, hey, we're having a watch party.
Like, I mean, I think that you see that for, like, you know, cell phones. You know, where people would, like, if the new iPhone comes out, there's an event.
Yeah.
And they hold on to it. But as far as, you know, the new Doritos flavor,
right?
I think we're done with that. I think you know. I mean, I know. In other words, it's going to have to be an event. It's going to have to be something that makes the culture, the dominant culture, which right now is hip hop and the internet.
Right.
You're going to have to talk to that culture, and you know, brick and mortar shit, old shit, doesn't talk to that culture. So, if you want to be frank, I do believe that the era of the huge Super Bowl event is getting long in the tooth. You know, like I'm not sure if that's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's like I think we'll always have Super Bowls as long as we have the NFL, and we'll have the NFL for quite some time. So there'll always be Super Bowls, but I think that you're going to see the Super Bowl streaming event happening for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a multi-level rollout.
Huh.
Put it that way. They've tried to do that before.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you know, start with the Pro Bowl and then we connect to, but it gets tiring when you have to actually physically go somewhere. If it's just like, you know, like we're going to do a 24-hour Super Bowl extravaganza, come in and out stream as you want, I think you'll see more traction.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, like it's just a different kind of event. It's one that is gratifying to people who are used to being gratified immediately.
Yeah.
I fully expect that after at some point Patrick Mahomes will have to do a AMA on Reddit right after the win.
Huh. Maybe
you feel me?
Yeah. No, I do. I'm not sure it's a good thing because I'm not sure it'll last. But
I don't know.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, because that's the other issue I have with giving the Twitterverse what they want, for lack of a better term.
The Twitterverse.
I don't know that it'll last. In other words,
sure.
Yeah, you got to give people what they want to an extent, but then you also have to ask yourself, is this sustainable? In other words, if this is the beginning of the end of entertainment, do you need to give them that?
I mean, do you need to give them, like, you don't need to give them anything.
Right.
You know, it's like if you want to, you can pull everything back. The question is, do you want to make your money now? Do you, like, in other words, you know, they're like that was a good Jeep commercial. I don't know if that sold any Jeeps.
Right.
You know, like, in other words, I don't feel any more inclined. I love the commercial. I don't feel any more inclined to buy a Jeep today than I did yesterday.
Right.
Like, I'm definitely, in fact, I know for a fact I'm definitely not going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I may get an Alexa.
Right.
Because that spoke to me in the current culture that I'm immersed in.
Huh.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, will it last that way? Probably not. You know, like, honestly, today, if in 3 months everything is gold, you know, in
now,
3 months it's all played out.
But see, that's interesting because, like, Hyundai did make me A, proud to own a Hyundai, and B, I wanted to buy more.
What was the Hyundai commercial? I missed that one.
The big monster truck pulling up next to the dude.
Oh,
and then so the girl coming out of the grocery store can't get her car out.
Yeah.
So then it has the automatic backup thing.
Yeah.
It was and then the second one was the Boston one.
The Boston one. That was what I'm about to say, dude. Like, immediately, Martha was like, "I thought that I thought the guy was from Philadelphia,
right.
Krasinski. I thought Krasinski was from Philadelphia. Let me look it up. Nope, Boston.
Right.
You know, it's like all these. Or Chris Evans. Nope, he's from Boston.
Right.
Like, no, that whole thing was so great because if you've known people from Boston,
right.
Like, whenever they turn the accent all the way up,
right.
It is wicked.
Right.
It is a wicked pisser.
Right.
So it was like I was way into it, and that did actually make me think about that car.
It was super fun because like we've all had that experience, not of being from Boston, but that experience of, like, not being able to get in your car because some asshole.
Yeah.
And so it was just like that was one where I don't think people are going to think about. I think if you asked everyone today, hey, what did you like the Hyundai commercial? They'd go, what? Huh?
Yeah.
But I do think they will think about buying Hyundai.
They may have sold Hyundais, though.
Right, exactly. And why did they? Because we all know that one douchebag that pulls in and fucking blocks you and you can't fucking get out of your car. And you're like, well, now I'm just fucked. I'm going to have to sit here and wait for 45 minutes in the cold for this idiot to get back with his goddamn Gatorade.
Right.
You know?
You're like, all right, I guess I'm going to stand here. When he comes out here, I'm going to give him a look.
Right.
He's going to get the fucking look when I see him.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He's black. Never mind.
Right.
It's actually Big Poppy. Sorry, your bigness.
Right. Like, it's just funny, man. Like, it's hilarious.
It's Big Poppy. My wife's like, I don't know who that is. It's like, God damn it. Years I've been with you. You don't know any sports.
Yeah. No sports ball at all.
All right, guys.
That's the other thing I'm fascinated by.
What?
The vitriol against sports ball. People love to hate sports.
Which, all sports, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah, they love. Think about this. What you just said.
Yeah.
As many years as I've been with my wife, and she doesn't know any of the sports I like.
Yeah.
That's not unusual. People love to hate sports.
I don't think she hates sports
No, I'm not saying she hates it, but I'm saying if you ask, hey, if there is a penalty flag on 3rd and 4, what sport am I watching? There's a lot of dudes even that would not know the answer to that.
I think that's ESPN. I think it's because, like, look, I said it before in the podcast. It used to be that every morning I woke up, like, I opened my eyes, I grabbed a remote control, turned on television, and dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. That's how I woke up.
Right.
Well, hell, after 5 years of that, my wife got sick of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's because we immersed ourselves so deeply into sports.
Yeah.
That when, like, and for me, whenever a sports, a sport association betrays me, I feel it viscerally.
Yeah.
You know, I stopped watching the NBA when the strike happened.
Right.
You know, it's just like, dude, if you can't figure out the basics of paying a goddamn player,
right,
I don't know why would I even bother waste my time with this.
Right.
You know, when the NFL mini strikes happened, you know, I felt equally betrayed. You know, it was like, guys, this isn't hard. I want to watch the sport. All you got to do is pay a motherfucker to play it.
Right.
You got to figure that part out. I don't know, like, what is the use of you?
Right.
And so there have been a lot of, you know, the whole baseball steroid scandal. Just a lot of shit that has gone on that has turned, and it's because of ESPN with the 24-hour news cycles, just like CNN.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to find out something about sports right now,
right,
any sport, where do you go? You're going to go to SI.com or you're going to go to ESPN.
Okay.
And both of those are going to turn you off whatever sport you're looking at. Because these guys are doing just what CNN and just what Fox News does and just what MSNBC does. They're going to be a take on an event without telling you about the event.
Okay.
They're going to tell you what they feel about the event or what they think that you want to hear about the event or what you should, in their opinion, feel about the event. You know, it's like, is this a good free agent signing? Well, let me tell you if it's a good one or not. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people are going to get turned off on that when it's supposed to be for their entertainment. Like, people put up with that shit with the news because the news is going to be horrible anyway. You know, missiles are hitting Gaza. There's no way to sugarcoat that shit.
Right.
But if I'm talking about, like, you know, Patrick Mahomes' new contract,
right,
I need to feel good about this.
Okay.
And they're not doing that. You know, what they're trying to do is get you worked up about it because they think that's the way to make you care. And it's actually doing the exact opposite.
Okay.
It's making you check out faster. So, I mean, yeah, I'm in other words, I don't think people hate the sport per se or the players. I think that people are really kind of sick of the thing that they count on to make them feel better, not making them feel better. Put it that way.
All right.
You know, like, but I agree. Like, the reason why my wife doesn't know anything about baseball is because baseball has never done anything positive in her life. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of goes back to that idea that we were brushing on earlier in the thing, where it's like people like to put stuff down, and I don't think we realize how much.
See, I'm not going to put that on the consumer. I'm going to put that on the provider.
Why?
Because not for everything, but for sports in particular. Let's put it that, or not. Well, maybe for everything too. Like if you have something that you put out there and no one cares about it, it's not their fault for not caring about it. It's your fault for not making a good enough product.
But in another way, I don't think that people realize that there's a way to find what interests you.
Sure.
So, in other words, there's a lot of runners.
Yeah.
And they have running sports, and they have running events, and they give a shit about running.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
But I don't knock people who do it. I think that's what I'm trying to find the disconnect in. In other words, I have never knocked anyone who runs. I've never made fun of a running store.
Right.
I've never made fun of marathons or 5Ks or it looks. I'm sure people enjoy it. A lot of people do it. Great. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But then I go to talk about soccer, And
you get a lot of pushback.
And from 8 out of 10 people, I immediately get pushback.
That's
you're one of those sports ballers.
Yeah, that's boring shit, soccer.
I don't hate your shit. Why are you hating mine?
Yeah. I'm feeling
like I love soccer. I like watching soccer. I like playing soccer. I like coaching soccer. Why are you giving me shit about what I like?
Yeah.
I don't give you shit about your fucking thing. Some people like pool. I think pool's incredibly boring. I don't think pool is any different than golf.
Yeah.
But I like golf. I like golf. I like watching golf, weirdly enough. I do not play, but I like watching it. But people automatically like, hey, you're an idiot. It's like watching paint dry. It's like, I don't give you shit about your thing. Why are you giving me shit about my thing?
Right.
Because I have never in 40 years made another human being watch golf with me.
Right. Like
I don't make it.
Actually have not done. In other words, my okay. Let's
make it random. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, let's not make it personal, like your wife or my wife.
Let's stick with golf for a second. Like, there's an argument against golf being elitist.
Okay.
There's an argument against golf being racist. There's an argument against golf being classist.
Sure.
Like, and those arguments I think should happen.
Okay.
I think those are discussions that should occur.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean that, like, you say, oh, well, golf is racist. Well, I'm black and I like it, so
yeah,
you don't have to come at me about it being racist.
Right.
Like, I'm aware of that, but I still like it. In other words, it being racist obviously hasn't stopped my enjoyment of it.
Right.
So there's no reason for me to have that particular conversation with you about it, because you should have the conversation with someone, but just not me, because I like it. Like, is that making any sense? In other words, if you come at me about it, then you're just being an asshole.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't understand is like people like they're waiting for me to say what I'm into. And as soon as I say what I'm into,
they're waiting to hit you.
Yeah, they're waiting to hit me as if I didn't know the history of golf.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing.
A bunch of guys, I have newsflash here, okay? The golf may be a racist sport, but it was not founded.
Sure.
It was not founded by the Klan.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Go talk to Daryl fucking Davis of all people. The golf was not started by the goddamn Klan.
It was not started by the Ku Klux Klan. No. It existed before the Ku Klux Klan existed.
And if
it was racist, it was racist against the Irish.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like
I mean. And who doesn't love to hate the Irish, by the way? Come on. It's a whole race of goddamn gingers.
We get this whole thing. It was like, football is violent. You know how violent football is? It said, well, I figured it out the first time I filled the A gap, and then I woke up the next day.
Right.
I kind of figured out it was violent at that point. Yes, I know football is violent.
Right.
But you're not giving me any news.
But also 30 years ago, we didn't have seatbelts in cars.
Yeah. 30.
So what are you going to say? Like, how are you going to ignore?
When I was 12 years old, I was riding on that little hump in the back of the pickup truck.
Right.
In the bed of the truck down the highway.
Right. So golf is 300 years old, but it's racist. And the fact that 8 million people died because we didn't have seatbelts 30 years ago is just going to somehow skip off your radar. Like that's what I don't get about the ability to find, we've talked about this before. If you look for positivity, you find it. If you look for negativity, you find it.
You find it very quickly.
But it makes me personally not want to talk to people when any private information I give them
is ammunition
against me.
Yeah. I agree.
That kind of like it not only does it hurt a little bit, like it makes me not want to talk to people. It
makes you see the reason I've discovered something about this podcast. Like the reason why I love this podcast is because I feel connected to the people that I'm talking to.
Okay.
But they can't hit me immediately back with what I say. In other words, if they want to attack me, then they're going to have to listen to the podcast, and then they're going to have to formulate their attack, and then they're going to put it into some sort of written form and send it to me. And then, like, maybe in that act of slowing down the vitriol, it gets tempered. You're right. It becomes more measured. It becomes more considered.
Okay.
And it's more like a conversation.
Right.
But I still connect with them.
Right.
You see, so I love to connect with you people.
Right.
But I don't necessarily want you to attack me for things that I'm saying, because I'm not trying to be attacked right now. Well, I'm trying to converse.
Well, and interestingly enough, like, we're also not trying to attack.
No, we're not trying to attack at all.
Because I know quite a few of our listeners who we've talked to, they don't like sports.
Right.
And I have no issue with that.
No, yeah.
You and I haven't stopped talking about football. We're not going to stop the podcast because the NFL's over.
Right. No, we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep going, and we're going to talk about some shit you like.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that each of the people who don't like sports have given us ideas on what to talk about, and we've had podcasts about that because of it.
Yeah.
Because of, and so it's like, we don't turn the mic off and like, okay, let's talk shit about Loud House CrossFit now. No, we don't do that. Like, there's no reason for that. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because my wife just said, so I bet you Ben mentioned Loud House CrossFit in the next podcast. He always mentions Loud House CrossFit.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You do a lot.
Dope. I
like them too. That's why I was like, Martha, we don't do it because they pay us.
Right.
They haven't given us anything. We do it because that's part of our conversation. It's how we talk.
I feel like, interestingly enough, I'm very curious about Loud House CrossFit. Do you know why?
We've never gone down there.
Because all they do is work out.
Like, we've never actually gone. Like, that's one of the things. Like, that's the other thing. Like, we mentioned, we're not actually endorsing them.
I've driven by there. And they're working out. They're working out at like 2 a.m. They're working out at 2 p.m.
I can't endorse Loud House CrossFit because I actually don't know what they do. I haven't been down there.
Yeah, you should go work out.
I'm not going to go down there.
You should go work out.
Like, I should. I absolutely should. We all should. We should all work out.
Should we?
That's the thing that we should.
I don't think that's true. I think you should work out. I don't think
Fuck you then, nigga.
I don't think Jesus wants me to work out.
Jesus wants you to.
Do you see how weak I am right now?
Jesus might be trying to kill you. I don't know.
He might be.
He might be trying to murder your ass.
Yeah. I'm actually doing this podcast in one of those dope
iron
face
lungs.
Masks. You know?
he's got this Kakashi mask on.
And that's mainly so I don't get myself sick.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about you.
He's trying to keep his germs off of his pop filter.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm gonna come back in on Wednesday and get these goddamn same germs back inside me again and go to dying again.
He's been sick for like 20 days or something. Yeah,
and every time I go see my doctor, shout out to Larry. I'm just gonna call him by his first name. Shout out to Larry. Larry's just like, Ben, you're really, really ill. If you can still call me 24 hours from now, why don't you call me? And I'm like, well, what are you going to tell me? And he's like, I'm going to tell you you're still alive. And
he just wants guarantee that the guy he talked to isn't dead yet.
I'm like, Doc, that isn't helpful. Like, I don't feel better. Like, literally the last time I saw him, I was like, Doc, how long do I have? And he reached over and knocked on wood. And I went, what is that shit? And he's like, I don't know how long you got. I mean, we're all just hoping at this point.
So you're alive now, and that's all I got?
Like, what the fuck, man? What happened to bedside manners?
Dude, this is not the way you doctor if you want to make your patient to have hope. we all believe that we're going to die. I don't need you to agree with me.
It actually is, though, because Larry he like taps into my like super morbid sense of like death being a person.
Do you know what's happening right now in the world? I think nihilism is taking over.
Really?
I think that we just watched the last episode of The Good Place. It's spoilers for The Good Place. It ends with them discovering dramatically that heaven sucks. Yeah. And so the only way to fix it is for everybody to die for real. Yeah. Like oblivion. That is the secret to happiness.
Wow.
It's I was like, it was a story.
Indian writers?
I don't know. It's like, that was so weird. It's like, you've gone through all these philosophies and the one you settle on is nihilism. Yeah. You know, it's like, what we need to do is annihilate ourselves periodically. Right. And say, what happens after that? We don't know. Right. Probably nothing. Yeah. Probably peace.
I think people like the idea of nothing happening.
Yes. They do.
But I don't think it's because of nihilism. I think they like to blame it on nihilism, but it's really just the fact that you fuckers are lazy.
I think it's exactly. I think you're tired of working. So
Right.
what if I didn't have to do anything? That'd be great.
People always give me shit about
just
that.
Sleep?
They always give me shit about that, though. As long as I have been alive, I say, look, if I can do this again, I'm going to.
Like, here's what I believe about the universe. I believe that when we all die, we're all going to be really, really pissed off. I think every dead person is angry right now. Not because they don't get to live.
Right.
It's because they have to keep living. It's like, what? I got to keep doing more shit now?
Right.
So, yeah. It never actually stops.
See, that sounds exciting to me.
That
I want to take the ride again.
That sounds horrific.
No, it doesn't.
I don't, because I don't think it's the same ride. I think it's a different ride altogether. It's like, all right, now you've gone through the preliminaries.
Yeah.
And now we're going to start your actual life. Say, what? What I've been doing for the last 80 years? This was just trying to get your soul in shape enough to actually do the actual thing you need to do. Well, how long does this last? I think this section lasts about 2,000 years.
Yeah.
But there's another 20,000 year section after that. So just get comfortable. Well, when do I get to rest? What is this rest thing you speak of?
Yeah. See, I think that's a foreign concept.
Like, this is a deeper conversation. We've been going for an hour.
We'll talk about rest next time.
Yeah, we're going to get into. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Mariachi Entertainment System.
Okay.
Which is a thing that you don't know about yet, but I'm going to tell you about on the next podcast, because this one is over. You listen to Tattoo with Children. I've been host of Ray. You can find Tattoo with Children on Facebook at Tattoo with Children. You can find us on Instagram at Tattoo with Children. You can find us on Twitter at Tattooed With. You can find me on Twitter at Hunter Vanguard, one word, Hunter Vanguard. And you can find me on Instagram at Madara Shadow. You can find Ben on Instagram at Black Crow Brother, and also at Black Spot Tattoo Company. You can find Mike Payne on Instagram at Sayo Payne, and also at Payne.points. That's Payne spelled Payne. Please, if you want to listen to the podcast, go to www.tattooedchildren.com. All the episodes are right there. And if you want to find us on Podchasers and give us a review, I would appreciate that. Podchasers is a website that aggregates a lot of podcasts, and we're on it. I'm connected to it. So if you give me a shout out because you like me, I would appreciate that. And also, if you want to give me money, I would love that even more. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com. Search for Tattoo with Children. You'll find me there. You can give me $5. I'll give you a little something. You can give me $20. I'll give you something more. You give me $50. I will give you a lot more.
Sounds good.
$50, things happen. Guys, in between now and then, I want you to absolutely take care of yourself before you take care of others. And remember that much like football, I love you.
See ya.
We were born to bring it back, but it's more than basic. It's a portion of its rap, but the core is ancient. It's imported like a pack